So what's up, good people? My name is Vernon Big V Eason. Today's date is October 1st, 2024. It is a Tuesday. Hey man, so look real quick. I just wanted to make this video ultimately the start of hopefully plenty of other good videos to come. But let me just start off. Let me start off with this. First and foremost, the intent and purpose of these videos and this channel in regards to me sharing my story, or my journey is to help others, as it relates to improving your wellness. By hopefully seeing someone else that looks like you, or has struggled with some of the same things that you have struggled with. Watching me go through some of those obstacles and hopefully knock down those goals and those barriers as we go along. All right, so just kind of give you some perspective. I am someone who has struggled. So like I said, I'm 37 years old. I'm someone who has struggled with my weight for all of my life. Okay. When I say all of my life, I'm talking back to when I was 9 and 10 years old. I specifically remember having to lose weight in order to play recreational tackle football, right? When you actually putting on pads, and now it's time to play tackle organized football with pads on. I had to lose weight. I had to lose weight just so I could play with my age group. And man, so I'm talking back to when I was 9 and 10 years old. That's just always been a struggle for me. I know that there are many of others that have struggled with similar things throughout their lifetime as well. Okay, I'm gonna do my best not to get too long-winded in this video. I can do that from time to time, so I'm trying to hone in on that. Long story short, guys, I have been for the teenage and adult portion of my life, for the overwhelming majority of my teenage years and my adult years, I have been well above 315 pounds for most of my life. If you take the teenage years out of it, if you just take the teenage years out, right, I have been on average about 340 to 350 pounds on average. Okay, I graduated high school at 330 pounds. I went on to play some college football. Upon me playing college football, or rather, as I went on to play college football, I think I ended up getting down to 290. As I finished up with college ball and entered the working world and providing for my family, I quickly saw that my activity level went down. However, my eating habits remained the same, and when that happens, the weight goes up. The weight goes back to where it was, and actually it went above that. So I would tell you that from my late 20s to early 30s, my average weight was about 350, and the highest 395. Okay, actually got up to 395 pounds. It was the year 2017. And I had made up in my mind that it started off when a weight loss challenge with some fellow co-workers, and I took that challenge to kind of help build some momentum to lose some weight and get healthier, man. I had a scare at that time that I really won't get into. We can talk about that on another day. But it was really good timing. So I want to summarize this as efficiently as I can. So from the year 2017, so really from the fall of 2017 to the winter of 2018, I went from 380 pounds at that time to 240 pounds. Okay, so it's about 15 months, guys. About 15 months. Okay, just some overall view there in terms of things that took place. I started off just by eating the 5 and 6 meals a day, right? The whole thought process of eating these small meals will help build your metabolism. I've done that before and I had success, but I always ended up hitting a plateau. But nevertheless, I did that for about 3 months or so, and I ended up losing about 40 pounds. I lost about 40 pounds, but then I hit this freaking brick wall of a plateau. And man, in the past, I would have allowed that plateau to make me fall or make me fold. But this time I said, no, man, I'm a hold strong. So I went from 380 to about 340. Man, I went through about 2 months of being persistent. I doubled down on working out because let me back up. I cut my calories. I was eating 5 to 6 meals a day, like I said, and I was working out more, right? I hit that plateau and I said, all right, Ryan, not this time. We're not going to yo-yo. We're going to double down on this thing. So as a result, I doubled down on my working out. I became more strict with my eating habits as it relates to cutting my calories. Still had my 5 to 6 meals a day. And man, I'm telling you, the weight just would not freaking budge on that scale. It was extremely frustrating. I know for a fact that there's folks out there listening to this that have been through this before, and it almost it's a very disruptive feeling. It's a very discouraging feeling, and you get to the point where you're like, well, damn, I might as well just go back to eating what I want to eat, because maybe I'm just meant to be overweight. Maybe I'm just meant to be that big guy, that big woman. Trust me, man, I've been there. I've been there so many times, and so many times before I reverted back to that, and I just put the weight all right back on, right? 3 months, lose weight, 3 months, put it right back on. This time I doubled down, like I said, 2 more consistent months. Got really frustrating, very, very discouraging. However, when I work out and I do cardio, for example, like if I'm walking or if I'm on the gym on the elliptical machine, I want to make it clear I'm not a huge fan of true cardio. Okay, I'm getting better with it now, but I'm not a huge fan of it. So as a result, I like to listen to YouTube videos as I work out, or I like to listen to music. But for months on end, I kept hearing about this thing, intermittent fasting. Okay, at this point, it was the late 2017 to early 2018 time frame, and I just kept hearing about intermittent fasting. And I'm like, man, intermittent fasting, for those that don't know what it is, you don't eat you don't eat 5 and 6 meals a day throughout the day. The name of the game is, hey, you keep your insulin as low as possible by not eating, and you reduce your eating window from anywhere from about 8 to 4 hours out of the day, meaning you don't eat anywhere from 20 to 16 hours of the day. You don't eat at all. Okay, that is completely different from what I've been taught, which is, hey, you need to eat a whole bunch of small meals to keep your metabolism up. So I'm like, man, by this time I hit this 2-month roadblock, and I'm like, well, I might as well give it a try, because at this point, I don't have anything to lose. 2 months stalemate. Let's give it a try, Vern. I gave it a try, and it changed my freaking life, man. We'll get into some things here, but I that's one thing that I've remained throughout these years, is intermittent fasting. It's a lot of things that I haven't done right in coordination with the intermittent fasting. However, that's one thing that I've maintained a pretty good discipline to. Nevertheless, I started that intermittent fasting after that 2-month stalemate, and man, within about 6 weeks, I had dropped another 20 pounds. And I'm like, man, this is it right here. So, fast forward. Okay, so we went from fall of 2017 to early 2018, around that January, February time frame, where I started doing intermittent fasting. Saw some really good results, built upon that for the next few months. Ended up going on a cruise with some family and friends in June of 2018. Came back from that cruise, and at this time frame, I was about 310 pounds when I came back. I was 310 pounds when I came back from the cruise. And I'm like, hey, man, I've had success with this intermittent fasting. And at this point, I kept hearing about long-term water fasting, which is, hey, look, instead of you eating 4 to 8 hours out of the day, that small eating window, you fast for multiple days at a time. And the only thing you drink is water. And at this point, I'm like, hey, man, I might as well give this a try too. And give me an opportunity. I had put a few pounds on when I came back from that cruise. So I was like, man, this is a good opportunity for me to quickly get this weight off and just and get back on track, right? Man, long-term water fasting, it changed the game for me. And long story short, I would embark on regular 3-day water fast, 4-day water fast, 7-day water fast. I would embark on this for several months, guys, to the point where from that summer of 2018, I went from that summer of 2018, like I said, I was 310, hovering around that 310 range. By the time we got to that November time frame, I was about 245. Felt amazing. Looked better than I ever looked, right? But I'll tell you, I still wasn't making good eating decisions. Okay, I would fast for 3 and 4 days, and then I would go and eat junk. I would fast for 7 days, and I would go and eat crap, buffalo wings, chili cheese fries, right? And although I wouldn't break my fast on these things, that's what it would ultimately end up leading to. But it was working for me in terms of losing the weight, keeping the weight off. And I'll be honest with you, man, even my health markers were getting better. As far as like my blood pressure, my A1C, which is an indicator for diabetes and things of that nature. I was getting better. Okay. Summer of 2019 rolled around, and at this point, I'm about 245. I'm maintaining my weight. Won't make any excuses. Long story short, I had some opportunities come up from a professional standpoint that gave me upward mobility, allowed me to make more, allowed me to improve finances for my family, allowed me to improve the quality of life for my family from that perspective too. So I'm extremely thankful for that. The bottom line is I didn't do a good job as it relates to managing my work-life balance. So those good, so some of those better habits that I picked up, such as, consistent fasting, working out at the gym, things of that nature, they fell by the wayside as I prioritized at that time point my professional life over my overall personal health. Again, that's nobody's fault but mine. I take ownership for that. Okay, looking back on it now, that's all me. So, long story short, from that summer of 2019 time frame, guys, through about 2021, my weight went from that 245 threshold to again back above 300. Fast forward a few years later to where I'm at now, because there's a lot of things in between that which I won't get into it, man. Lost my mother in 2020. Late 2020, one of the biggest challenges that I've ever faced. For anyone that's ever lost a loved one, or mother or father, man, it really hits differently, especially for those that we really love and have a close connection with. The bottom line up front there is I didn't handle that well when I first lost my mom. Didn't handle that grief well that first year, and that's on me. I've learned a much healthier way to handle that. I'll tell you, everyone's got their own individual grief journey, and and you got to take ownership for that, for yourself and for the people that love you too, man. So for anyone that's going through that, I promise you it gets better, but you got to tackle it head on. Don't just sit around assuming that it's going to get better. You have to be deliberate about how to fill that void from a grief perspective. So I won't get too deep into that. I just want to highlight the fact that from that 2019 time frame to where we are at today, which is 2024, there's a lot of things that has happened, and I don't want to get too detailed on those things today. I can talk more about them for anyone that's interested. Nevertheless, let's fast forward to June of 2024. Okay, went on a cruise. By this time, man, I'm well above 300 pounds. I get back from a cruise this past year, 2024, the month of June, towards the end of June, and man, I'm 342 pounds. My body at this point is giving me indicators that, hey, Vern, stop taking life for a joke. Stop taking it for granted. You know that you're overweight. You know that you've got high blood pressure. You know that heart issues tend to run in your family. Your mom passed away at a very early age. What are you going to do to make sure that's not you? Right? And for those that know my mom, man, my mom wasn't a smoker. She wasn't a drinker. She didn't do drugs. She didn't do any of those things. She just, she was a little overweight, similar to myself. And to be very transparent, I don't smoke, but I will enjoy a drink from time to time. So from my perspective, I could be very well at more of risk than what my mom was, is my point. Okay? But my body started giving me signs. It started giving me warning signs that, hey, look, man, it's time for you to make a change. Or maybe you won't see 40, Vern. Hell, you may not even see 38 if you keep playing these games. Those were the type of warning signs that my body was giving me. And I chose to listen to those warning signs. So as a result, and I'll tell you guys, I saw multiple times in the past few years, documentaries, movies, evidence that shows that a plant-based lifestyle has been shown to prevent chronic disease such as heart disease, cardiovascular disease, diabetes. It has been known to prevent those things, and in some cases actually help to reverse some of the effects of those things as well. Okay. Same thing goes for cancer. Okay. I've been armed with this information since the 2021 time frame, but quite frankly, I just failed to do anything with it. Shame on me. Again, I take ownership for that too. It's when you start really emphasizing to yourself that, hey man, look, the life ain't just about you. Vern, you might really like these buffalo wings, but I promise you, you don't love them as much as you love being here for your family, right? So I really had to start putting things into that perspective. So July 1st, I transitioned to plant-based, okay? I transitioned over to plant-based. Today is October 1st, which is really why I'm making this video. I have really been hesitant to make this video. I've been postponing it. I've been pushing it off. But again, I've got somebody in my corner that has been holding me accountable. He's been on my bumper. He's been on my neck about it. And from his perspective, he's like, Vern, you can't wait until you get to optimum health to start sharing your story and sharing your journey. You can't wait until you go from 340 pounds to 230 pounds. You can't wait until you lose 120 pounds to start sharing your story, because it's people that need to hear it when you actually going through it. They need to, when you're struggling, they need to see that. When you have a difficult week, they need to see that. When you are exposed to adversity and trials and tribulations, they need to see how you handling that. And he's right. He's absolutely right. I just been pushing it off. Okay. I want to make it clear. My intent is to legitimately help folks. So where are we at, guys? I said I started out 342 July 1st. Okay. Today is October 1st. I am 295 pounds. I lost 47 pounds. Okay. I'm far from being done. But man, I tell you, this has been a tremendous journey for me. I've cut out the meat. I cut out the dairy. I've cut out the meat completely. The dairy, I don't eat cheese. I don't eat milk or any of those things. However, the one thing that I do still struggle with, just being transparent, is the processed foods. Things like potato chips, French fries, right? The things that are deep fried. Sometimes those things could have some dairy in it. But even if they don't have dairy in it, they definitely have oil. And oil, you got to watch out for the oil too. For those folks that think, hey man, going plant-based just means, you can be a junk food vegan. Junk food vegan can harm you just as much as you being someone that's addicted to meat products as well. So you got to be cautious of that. The oils can be a killer for us. Okay, and we'll talk more about that at another time. That's a conversation for another day. But my point is, what I've done these past 3 months is completely get rid of the meat. I haven't touched meat in the past 3 months, guys. I've gotten rid of the dairy, and I have minimized the processed foods. I have not completely gotten rid of the processed foods, but I have worked to minimize it. Okay, that's still a challenge for me. Just transparency. I'm working on it. I'm still a work in progress, which is part of the reason while I'm bringing this forward right now. Okay. But my blood pressure's come down, man. Instead of me averaging around that 145-ish range over that 90-ish range, for my blood pressure, I've been hovering around the upper 120s, low 130s over the mid 70s range. That's kind of where I've been hovering at, right? And again, those are the only things I've done is I've cut out those foods that I just mentioned, and I get a little bit of exercise, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, guys. I'm not overly allowing myself to be consumed with exercise, because quite frankly, what we put in our mouths is way more important than the exercise. I'm not saying exercise isn't important. I'm just saying when it comes down to it, what we allow to go across our lips is what really makes the biggest difference from that perspective. Okay. I still got a long ways to go, but I did want to share where I'm at right now, and more videos to come as well. Today I am in Miami. I live in Virginia, but today I'm in Miami. My wife and I, we're getting ready to hop on a cruise. Okay. We normally cruise with Carnival. Really love Carnival. We tried some other cruise lines in the past, but Carnival, we love Carnival. But tomorrow, we're going to be getting on our first Virgin Voyage cruise, the adults only cruise, and I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a different experience. my intent this week is, hey, look, let's just maintain this week, Vern. Maintain your weight this week. I'll tell you, on average, I normally go on a cruise and I normally put on 10 to 12 pounds during that week of the cruise. By me now being plant-based, my intent is to maintain my plant-based eating routine. Allow myself to maybe indulge a little bit. I know that I'm gonna have some of the processed vegan foods up there. I will allow myself to enjoy that. I'm gonna allow myself to enjoy the alcohol. My wife and I are officially celebrating our 15-year wedding anniversary, and I think we deserve that. Our anniversary was back in August, but we allowed the kids to get back into school, get into their routine, and now we are officially taking our cruise. So today, this cruise, while it may be a challenge for me, it's also going to be an opportunity for me to really step up and show myself that, hey, look, even during periods of enjoyment and vacation and excitement, guess what, man? You can still live a healthy, balanced lifestyle. You can still do that, okay? So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, and we're going to have a good time, and I'm still going to maintain my lifestyle decisions. Okay, but more to come. I've definitely got more long-winded than I want to. I don't anticipate future videos being this long. I just want to give a high-level overview of who I am, some insight on my journey, and where I intend to go. I've got some goals where my birthday is in January, late January. Man, I would really like to be back to that 240 range that I was able to achieve. I did get to that 240 range in the past, guys, but I want to make it clear that was a very small percentage of my adulthood. Most of my adulthood, again, well over 300 pounds. And out of 37 years of life, and since I've been 18, the only period of time that I was really able to get to what I would call a more optimum weight was about a year time frame, and then I very quickly fell back off. So I got work to do, man. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but I'm looking forward to this journey. I'm happy with the progress I've made thus far, but I know that there's plenty more work to do. All right, so again, man, this channel may not be for you. It may not be for somebody that just wants to look good, or somebody that just wants to lose a few pounds for a vacation or for a trip, right? I get that. But for the people like me that have struggled with our weights our entire lives, for the people like me that's worried about whether or not we're going to see our next birthday, for the people like me that have been overweight our entire lives, and we've seen countless members of our family perish way too soon, and we want to make a difference, man, let's rock together. Okay, I'm gonna learn on this journey. I'm gonna share my learning with you. I'm gonna fall sometimes, but I'm gonna pick myself back up, and we'll do it for each other. Okay, my motto has always been one day at a time, one choice at a time, one goal at a time. We may not be able to control everything, but we are able to control our decisions. Okay, and our decisions have so much power for us to take our lives back and take destiny into our own hands. But the decisions that we've got to make, they've got to be conducive towards our goals each and every day. And when we do fall, we got to get right back up. We got to make the decision to get right back up and not be a victim. Okay, so I'm gonna end the video here. Hope to talk to you guys soon. All right, I'm gone.